Alright, so today we got a short scene that I actually shot. I was the DP on this job. It was a few years ago. Thought it'd be a good opportunity to revisit it. It's pretty old at this point, but let's get this into rec. Take a look at what we got. So we got these 4 shots. It's basically triangle coverage. And this was shot on my Blackmagic. So we're running this under the Blackmagic Film Gen, 4.6K film input gamma up to DaVinci wide gamut. And we're coming down in this case to the JP2499 DRT. For no other reason other than that it's just something new I've been playing with. I did not use it initially grading this, but I like what it's doing to the skin tone, so let's get started here. This was delivered 2.0 aspect ratio, so I've got a letterbox on here. If you were to look at a group of shots and you've got your letterbox on a dctl on the timeline level, the 2.0 crop comes over, as you can see here. But if we pop it off and we do this at the timeline, or at the output blanking on the timeline 2.0, it doesn't. So what can throw you off is like details like the light up there that I knew were going to be cropped out at the 2.0 aspect ratio, so they were just on the edge of frame. And it is worthwhile to keep that out when you're grading, so it doesn't throw off your interpretation of the footage. So anyway, long-winded start. Let's just get going here. All right, we're going to put in a little bit of contrast, and we are going to put in a little bit of exposure. The expected deliverable was very natural looking, so all the lighting in here is very kind of high key commercial, and that is the look that we got to carry through this whole thing. So just want to get these keys where they should be across the shots. That looks relatively, I'm checking the false. All right, this one's a little bit darker, and I can tell you why. We're trying to keep this area of the window. It was hot. We had a 3-ton, but we didn't have a huge lighting package. So I wanted to make sure that we were staying within the confines of the negative, just to keep the sky, just in case. I mean, nothing looks worse than a clipped sky, in my opinion. It's okay if it rolls off, right? If it rolls off and it looks nice, then that's one thing. So yeah, we definitely had BPMs in the box, as you can tell in the highlighted area here. And we just wanted to manage that exposure on the day. And one thing I always do when I'm shooting is I pull the feed to the client side, so they only see the finished image. They don't see me constructing it, because you're rushed on the day. You know, these are, again, you know, everything is shot fast, I feel like, but this one in particular was shot very quickly. We had, I distinctly remember during this scene, we had 2 takes. Each of the actors had 2 takes, and that's easier said than done. Anyway, I think we're getting pretty good shape here. I don't want to rely on a film emulation on this one, as it's not appropriate for this video. But what I do want is I want some of the tones from a film emulation, the color shift that can happen. I want that to come over. So I'm going to fire up the colors from a 2383. And let's pull some green out of this. That's too much. We're going to have to do this with the 1/4 point. And let's see how it's behaving on the others. Yeah, we might need to warm this one up just a little bit, just to get it seated into those tones. There we go. That's better. So let's see where our skin's hitting now. A little towards the green side. we're going to do a hue shift on that. It was swinging toward a little bit towards green. So I'm going to add some red into that skin value. And that brought it back. You can see here how that swung a little bit towards the yellow. But when we put our hue back on, it's a little bit tighter towards the skin tone line. Now we should have better looking skin tones all around. Yeah, as you can see, they're pretty consistent throughout. All right, cool. And let's grab this. That'll be our image that we're going to be balancing to. All right, so we're a little lower in exposure on this one. Just going to bring that up to match. And then here on our fourth shot, he's looking pretty good. I think we can shape this a little bit. That snaps in very nicely there. So let's take a look at our 4 shots. There we go. Play these back. Awesome. And maybe we can pull these blues up. Get a nice rich looking shirt. Get a little bit more color separation. That's nice. Let's give him a little highlight. Just because his complexion's a little bit darker, I think a little bit of highlight wouldn't hurt. He's getting a nice return off that white table, that's for sure. But I think we can just get that area beneath the eyes lit up a little bit. A little highlight here. Just to lighten up the face. And maybe we can pop his eyes just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, and then lastly, at least for him, I think we can take down the table. Shape that a little bit. He's got a nice natural vignette around him with the TV on the top, plants on the side. That's a nice color contrast to his skin. That gray wall behind him is picking up a little bit of blue or a cyan tone. It's slight, but it's there. So we're just going to knock down the table a little bit, which is going to bring the exposure of his hands much closer to his face. This is going to look like a more cohesive shot. Yeah, I mean, that skin tone is freaking awesome. So overall, yeah, you know what? It's just the highlights on this shot here that just aren't quite as cool. Let's go back to our reference image. Yeah, you see this highlight here? It does jump out just a little bit. So let's pull a range of the highlight. Here we go. And then we'll just keep that on that side of the frame. Let's do it with a big circle. Nice natural looking circle. Soften that up. 12 or so. There we go. Now we'll play that. And then in that highlight correction, we'll just drop a little bit of coolness back in there. And that may have done it. Just one point of blue and 1 point of cyan. Now let's bring his shirt back to blue. Beauty. Cool. All right, I think that's it, guys. Pretty quick overall. I mean, obviously this will be a few more shots for the scene, but we were able to get in and out pretty quickly on this one, and this is well above average. So I'll catch you in the next one.